Congratulations, you got Juan Soto. We didn't want him. We wanted him out of the Bronx. He was never really that good to begin with, and it's cleared up a lot of cap space to have a great offseason, you know?
All right, it's the rundown. Thursday, December 12th. As you can see with the group that has been assembled here, today is a Thirsty Thursday rundown because we have three beautiful looking bastards with us today. And if you're thirsty, what do you got to drink? You got to drink some Body Armor. This show is brought to you by Body Armor Sports Drink. Real hydration, real ingredients, packed with electrolytes, vitamins, and nothing artificial. Large has the water bottle right there. I told you when I go to the office for my streams, I got to bring home the water bottles for my kids. It is their number one thing that they bring to school. They love it. And then we love all the other great tasting flavors they have, like strawberry banana, orange mango. The fruit punch is delicious. So get yours today at Walmart or a local grocery store near you. The sports drink at Barstool Sports, I absolutely love it. Moving along to the set of topics here today. Number one, this kind of was covered a little bit yesterday, but it's official now. Bill Belichick, the man that built a dynasty in New England, and honestly, let's be honest, built Barstool Sports by doing nothing but winning and being allowing us to sell merch and all that stuff, officially accepts the North Carolina job. The Tar Heels football dynasty has begun. Jerry Thornton is now our resident Patriots and North Carolina reporter, I would imagine. Robbie, what are your thoughts on our football godfather heading to college here?
I loved, like everyone else, the UNC jerseys. They're just some of the best jerseys in all of sports. I was going to say college football. I was going to say football, but they're some of the best jerseys in all of sports. That's really as far as my knowledge on the Tar Heels goes. I mean, I know Caleb, all that and stuff. I see this and I think, is Bill Belichick's girlfriend going to start getting jealous with him around a lot more women his type, you know? Her age, his type. So I don't know. I kind of want like behind the scenes documentary following him the whole way. I want to see Bill Belichick as a college coach. It will be crazy, kind of just like surreal to see after growing up with him as the Patriots dynasty coach. Like it's hard to imagine him coaching in college, but I think it'll be cool actually.
Large?
I guess it makes sense now, right? Because the way we pay players, it's sort of like dealing with professionals. I think it's why, a guy like Saban left. I don't know if Saban was cut out for the NIL type situation with, you know what I mean? Like there's a difference. Most college guy, like when Saban, for example, went up, then it was an utter failure with the Dolphins and came back to where he's comfortable at college. I don't think he has that safety net anymore because college is essentially pro football. I just think imagine if he took the Michigan job. Oh man.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God.
I mean, we'd be making a t-shirt every
The
hour.
merch.
It'd
Yeah.
be unbelievable. But yeah, so I think this didn't make any sense before they started paying players essentially and ruining the game of college football. But I think now it makes a little bit more sense. Except I think it was Chief who tweeted it out this morning. Belichick was like 24 or 25 wins behind Don Shula for the most wins of all time for a professional coach. Why not take if you're going to go back into coaching and it's kind of closer to being a pro coach than college ever would have been before this, why not grab an NFL fucking job and just try to go maybe 3 or 4 seasons and now you're the greatest coach. You're widely considered one of the greatest coaches or the greatest coach to ever live. You take that Shula record and you're number one with a bullet. So North Carolina must have given him a fucking bag. So good for
I
them.
thought they didn't want him in the NFL. I thought the Falcons like interviewed him a bunch and they were like, we don't want you. Kick him to the curb. They thought he was an old man.
Yeah, I think one of the things is if individually some teams don't want him, somebody would take fucking Bill Belichick, right? And at the end of the day, the Jets
Yeah.
would take Bill Belichick. You're right.
Yeah.
Giants would take fucking Bill Belichick, like something like that. So,
Oh
no,
my
I'm
God,
happy. I'm
imagine.
going to see him going on the sidelines. I'll probably be more apt to see him play now live than I would have, if he was coached somewhere else in the NFL. So, I'm excited for him. The people at UNC must be going out of their fucking minds about the whole thing. So it's good.
Did you see the North Carolina announcement video they had? They took the old Family Guy episode where they're like, "Hey, Bill Belichick, we're North Carolina football," and then it was
That's
awesome.
funny.
Yeah. So Belichick is 26 games behind Shula for the all-time wins record. And I was thinking the same thing, Large. I'm like, don't you want to kind of be, put your name number one in the record books? The only thing is, as of right now, so we still have obviously the rest of the season to go. Andy Reid is 32 behind him, and he has Patrick Mahomes about to
Oh,
hit
right,
his,
right.
prime.
Oh,
And it's like, do you really want to? And Belichick's going to be coming in, has to start from scratch. God knows what his quarterback situation will be like and all that other stuff. To then have Andy Reid end up passing you, maybe I don't want to say no matter what, but it's going to be tough. So, and there's really no one else. Tomlin's next in terms of active coaches, and he's 120 behind Belichick or so. So he hasn't had like a quarterback in years. But it's like I do think that's part of it. And the other part is I don't know how much this has been reported, but I think they talked about it when everyone was like, what the fuck is North Carolina even doing talking to Belichick? I think he's basically like, my son is going to be the coach in waiting. So he's basically setting up his son to become the head coach down the road. I think he was the defensive coordinator in Washington this year after doing all of that stuff with the Patriots with the DBs and
yeah.
stuff. So it's kind of like a family thing. That's a good dad. That's good dad in large. If you could do that, like,
Yeah.
you know, you could end up at, I know they wrote a hit piece about it, say Deadspin, but down the road, Mick could become the editor in chief or something. You'd suck it up for a few
No,
years if it's a lesser
you're
job.
seeing a lot of good dads lately. Joe Biden springs to mind, letting his kid off that, bully for him. But Charlie Weiss did something similar. Remember when Weiss did that? Because his kid, when he left Notre Dame, maybe Florida before the Kansas job, I think he had his son, and it didn't wind up working out. I don't think his son ever took over. I think maybe Lou did something with Skip Holtz. So it's been done before, but I don't know if it's been done with somebody who's come directly from the pros into college. So if he's doing it for his kid, LeBron James is another guy that springs to mind.
Yes, yes.
LeBron, right? So I don't know. Tiger wants to play till his kid plays somewhere around the tour. So you
Yeah.
see more and more of this. Just great dads. We should talk about this more if we got a parenting podcast
We
here at
should.
Barstool, right? Maybe me, you, one or two other guys who just do about it once a week. We should put that in the fucking back burner, though.
Those
But
motherfuckers. I see he's already brought, I think Mike Lombardi, his old like crony is going to be like the GM there or whatever. It could just become an Aaron Rodgers 2.0 situation where it's all his friends coming. Matt Patricia's the offensive coordinator again. And
Yep.
North Carolina is looking for a new coach after they fire the dad and the son to then move on to
Dave has a job somehow. He's doing something.
that somehow this will all work with Portnoy becoming like rich and things going viral because of it. Like I said, if he ended up in Michigan, that would have been incredible. The Chapel Bill shirts, which buy them right now at the Barstool
Yep.
Sports store, just an incredible name right off the front, Chapel Hill, Chapel Bill. So it's going to be interesting. I think everyone's lost a little bit of interest in college sports over the years because there's so much movement with the players, the teams, the conferences. Having Bill Belichick in any sport is just fucking good. It sucks he probably won't do as much media or any media, but I'm very happy to see him there and very happy to be selling merch with his face on it yet again at Barstool Sports. Staying in the NFL, we got a press conference where Tua, I guess this is kind of off of the Joe Burrow having his house like robbed and the SI swimsuit model who was there. That's a flex along with the Batmobile. Tua basically came out and said that he has armed guards at his house now in Miami, or has always had them, or got them somewhat recently.
So we got personal security to take care of all of that when we're on the road. We got someone with my wife, got someone also at the house, surveying the house. So just to let that be known, they are armed. So I hope if you decide to go to my house, you think twice.
Large, as the resident rich guy on the podcast, what do you think of this move by Tua, letting everyone, not only having armed guards, but at least letting people know he has armed guards?
yeah, so when I first started getting armed guards, I have them all. Now,
Yes.
the last time I had one, I did that Rough and Rowdy that Gillian Wallow did. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
And
Dover?
What's that?
Was that Dover? Or it was Delaware?
It was just outside of Philly.
Okay.
And they're doing it again in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna
Yeah,
get
another one coming up.
for it. Yeah. And I had like a real security guard standing behind me, and it was cool. Like I felt like a little bulletproof. The guy wasn't bigger than me or anything like that. And obviously, if a group of people wanted to overtake him to get to me for some reason, maybe I have a healthy kidney. They wouldn't have done much, but just having it around makes sense. But to your point, I think it's sort of, the people who put the Simply Safe signs on their lawn and they never set up the
Yeah.
Simply Safe, they just buy it. It's the same people who bought the vaccination cards and never got vaccinated? Are they fucking playing chess? Is Tua playing chess and he doesn't actually have this? He's just seeing that everybody else is getting robbed blind. If so, fucking kudos to Tua, right? That he's putting that out there. So yeah, it's the same thing like with me. He's saying that I have an 8-inch cock, may or may not be real, but no one's ever going to know about it, and it helps me out a little bit. So good for him.
Bob, what's your take
I
on all
thought it
this?
was funny seeing like the difference between Joe Burrow's house in Ohio. He's like, I'll hire a Sports Illustrated model to check it out. And then it's to his mansion in Miami. He's like, we got to go Scarface on this thing. We got to hire armed guards. I need assault rifles at the front door, ARs on the balconies. But yeah, it's a kind of a no-brainer. From what I know about Tua, it seems like you should maybe have armed guards with him at all times because you can't let that guy fall again.
No brainer, Bob. That's a little bit of a risky joke to be making about Tua here. I don't approve that. That wasn't very
You're
nice.
saying Tua's a no-brainer? He has no
That's
brain anymore, you're
sounds like
saying?
sounds like that's what you said, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that is the word on the street about Tua.
I can't blame Tua. Miami, I think everyone in the panel has been to Miami at one point. It's like a cool
Oh
looking
yeah.
city, but you can also get to the underbelly pretty quickly, and you're just like, holy shit, this
Vice City. That's what I
yes.
thought the first time I went to Miami for Barstool. I was like, oh my God, I've never been here, but it feels like I've been here because I've played Grand Theft Auto.
The first city to have two Grand Theft Auto games made about it, right? Actually, New York might have had it twice, but still, no matter what, Miami definitely could be a sketchy place.
Yeah.
And then if you just look at the fans, I mean, you got your Nicky Smokeses and Frank the Tanks, right? Those are the two Falcons fans we
Yeah.
have here. Armed guards, at the very least, should be, with fucking bazookas in their hands. So good on Tua, like you said, whether or not he has them, if he has the sticker in his front yard saying armed guards or something else, beware a dog, that as well, even if you don't have a dog. So, yeah, Tua does have a brain, regardless of what Robbie Fox is. Robbie, you've probably had some armed guards in your life too. You're rubbing elbows with Dana White, Conor McGregor. I'm sure you've had a few guys that might have been holding you didn't even know though.
I have sat next to armed guards at fights for sure.
Yes.
Dave
Moving.
should
Oh,
have one. You think Dave needs more protection? Our security guards here at Barstool Sports, collectively and individually, are some of the greatest people in the world. That
Yeah.
every one of them you
correct.
want to have dinner with, right? They're awesome. Pat, Mike, every one of them. But I'm just wondering where his celebrity is. Like I'm trying not to touch anything on his desk. I'm in Dave's office right now. I'm sure I'm on camera somewhere. Otherwise, I'd be tempted to steal this Ric Flair card. Just happens
Ooh,
right here.
Ooh.
What are you fucking?
Woo!
Celebrity
Um,
mint.
but I'm wondering when does Dave get to that point now where
Yeah.
we have a certain
I
degree
mean,
of
he's going to Ohio this weekend. They're bringing the college football show to Ohio. He's going to
that's what I
rub their
mean. Like,
face in it. He
yeah, like
should be coming out like 50 Cent with a bulletproof vest.
right. Or one of those guys who trains dogs. Like, when they have the big
Yeah,
pandas,
yeah, with
the
the
whole
full
thing.
Kevlar. Yeah, he almost looks like Jeremy Renner in the Hurt Locker.
Exactly. Yeah. I think he needs to bump it up a little bit.
That's actually a
Yeah.
great point. And I mean,
Him being like, I'm going to Columbus to rub your face in it after this loss. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
why, like, there will be people that say Dave Portnoy lost his fastball. Dave Portnoy, who loses his fastball, isn't doing shit like that. I got to be honest. I'm not trying to
Right.
glaze the guy. That's a ballsy move.
that's like Biggie going to LA during the heat, post Tupac death. Why are you doing that, Biggie? You don't have to be going to LA to prove anything to anybody. I'm actually a little, I mean, just watch the news. Being rich doesn't mean anything. People can be God no matter
It's
what. So,
scary.
yeah,
It's
let's
scary.
bump
Yeah.
up the security on Dave just in case. He's on 3 meal tickets right now of the people on this show. Uh,
Yes.
moving on to part two of the show. Part two of the show is brought to you by our friends at NASCAR. We have the face of NASCAR at Barstool right there, the beautiful face. The adrenaline of the Daytona 500 is something you have to experience in person. I went the week after the Daytona 500 last year, went to the track, and it is so awe-inspiring. My son brings it up like every few weeks. Like, when are we going to go back to that racetrack? I'm like, what? Oh, you're talking about when we went to Daytona like 2 years ago? He's like, yeah. So it is truly, there's nothing like witnessing the stars of NASCAR battle for position, going 200 miles per hour on this 2.5 mile speedway. It's a living, breathing museum, essentially, of sports. 40 drivers will compete amongst the likes of Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, and Bubba Wallace as they try to make, as they try. As they try to make their mark to start a historic NASCAR season. You won't want to miss this once-in-a-lifetime sporting event. Purchase your tickets today for the 2025 NASCAR 500 at Daytona500.com. If you can somehow get the tour of the raceway, the speedway, excuse me, I would suggest it heavily. That's what we did. And Large, give me your 2 cents on Daytona before we move on here.
So a lot of people pick their favorite tracks or their favorite experience. My favorite experience every year at NASCAR is Daytona. Talladega is great. Talladega is as southern as I've ever felt. And sometimes I like a nice hot shower with some good water pressure. You don't get that in Talladega. So Daytona is a little bit more corporate, a little bit more me. I take the family every year. So even when we go down with other people, like Bridge, Finn, Annie, I think Mick's been there once. Those guys have been there twice. It's a great race. And like you said, super speedway racing, 2.5 miles. So you're going to see real high speeds and you're always going to see crashes. So, which, for the people who don't understand, racing or don't appreciate like a very clean race, there's a little bit of everything. So, and anybody can win. It's one of those ones where it's a great race to bet on because everyone can win. It's a great race to watch. It's beautiful. I mean, Daytona at that time of year is absolutely beautiful. And it's also extremely scummy, right? You can go into Daytona Beach and you can get into some trouble. So it's a little bit for everybody. Like I said, I bring my family down there. I also bring Glenny Balls down there. So that's you know what I mean? So I've had some good times there. So I highly recommend as a gateway race to at least start out with Daytona and also maybe even put it on. Dave puts Talladega on the bucket list for him just because Talladega is also a super speedway and it's also very special to watch. But Daytona for me is number one with a bullet. And we'll be there. Spider and I will be there with the whole Rubbins Racing crew. I think we're bringing some gamblers too. So maybe, I don't even know who it is just yet. But so that's it. We'll be at Bowman Gray the 2 weeks before, Daytona, and then Atlanta the week after. We're really front ending the season. I think we're going to like 10 races. But to do that, try to get pit passes like Clement said, because the place is dripping with history. We've gone fishing on the lake inside of Daytona because the infield is so fucking massive. And yeah, it's very, very impressive to be there on the fence as they go by going 200 miles an hour, a couple inches off a wall. Yeah.
It's one of those sports that when you see it live, it changes your entire thought process on everything. Just seeing how fast these cars go and they're all right next to each other. So the big man speaks it there, 2 months away. So Daytona500.com to get your tickets now. I know Daytona, it's the opening race of the season usually, but they also call it
the first points race of the season. The Bowman Gray one is more like the Clash they used to at LA and whatnot. So it's crazy that season starts with the biggest race of the year. The championship race in Phoenix and NASCAR is 10 months long, doesn't end until November. And that championship race in Phoenix doesn't have the allure to it that Daytona is. So even when you retire, they're like, how many championships do you have? How many Daytona 500 wins do you have? NASCAR is just different.
Just different.
Yeah.
Some people would say Daytona is the World Series of racing, and that brings us to our next topic here. Major League Baseball is auctioning off the ball that Aaron Judge dropped in the 5th inning of Game 5 of the World Series, along with the infamous ball of Gerrit Cole pointing at first base that never ended up in his glove because he just stopped running for some reason at that point. Bob, as the resident Yankee fan of the podcast, what is your thoughts? Because you watched all that go down live and in living color with, I believe Mike Francesa was in the room for that one, right?
With Francesa, yeah, and it was an honor to watch a game with Francesa. Obviously, for like the historical significance of the meltdown, it's like crazy to watch with him. If the Yankees are the evil empire that they've always been, they would have someone on the back end use the Steinbrenner credit card, buy these balls and burn them, get them out of existence. They're cursed. These balls they have an evil inside of them. There's not a quirk inside of them, there's an evil. And I want that evil gone. I want it gone from the world. Congratulations, you got Juan Soto. We didn't want him. We wanted him out of the Bronx. He was never really that good to begin with, and it's cleared up a lot of cap space to have a great offseason, you know?
Yeah, no, that's good for you guys. I never thought I'd see the day the Mets outbid the Yankees for a superstar that was on their team they wanted. Turns out they didn't want him. Juan Soto actually bad. That's what I've been reading from a lot of Yankees
Not
fans.
outbid.
No,
They were
actually
not
bad.
outbid.
Not outbid.
Let me clear that up right now. The Yankees were not outbid for Juan Soto.
Oh man, Large. By the way, Robbie knowing that cork is inside of baseball, something I did not know was a fact. That he knew that. I'm pretty proud of
Brother,
him.
I used to spend days and nights in the outfield, brother.
That's true.
Where fly balls go to die. That's what they would say about me.
Kevin
Uh,
says he's going to bid on it.
yeah, so Kevin's written a lot of things to Steve Cohen about like it's your legacy to buy the Mets, then it was your legacy to get Juan Soto. Kevin, your legacy now rides on. I'll the Judge Ball is already, I think, at like 150,000. The the Garrett Cole Ball is at like 6,000. That's doable. That's doable for Kevin with his, Barstool
19,
money after they
$19
got
million
bought.
dollars, right? I mean, he told us live, and the reason I'm familiar with this, he broke that number on Barstool Finance that one time. I
Yep.
was like, "You sure I'm allowed to put this out?" He was like, "Yeah." And then you fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, and I pull Kevin's name out of a hat as a Secret Santa, and I'm like, "What do I get the guy?" And then I see this thing go up for sale, and I was like, "That's not one of the things I'm going to get the fucking guy." You know what I mean? Nobody can get that fucking prick. Robbie had said I'm one of the easier guys to buy for. Where do you put KFC in the list of guys if you were to get a Secret Santa at Barstool?
I
I
actually
mean,
think he's fairly easy,
Yeah.
personally, because he's got the money, but he's not the kind of guy who doesn't appreciate small, stupid shit as well. Like, I feel like if you get him something just nostalgic enough to hit that bone for him, he's in. Or you get him something horny, you know?
yeah, and something horny that could work too. Didn't
You get
Glenny
him an old
get
porno mag and he's happy.
didn't Glenny get Asa's pocket pussy, like our first Secret Santa that we had way back in the day, or it was a white elephant or
I
something
think
like that?
so.
Yeah.
I
So
think it was something like
I
that.
mean,
Yeah,
Kevin, like Glenny horny gifts, I think are on a whole new level, right? I think Glenny is
definitely.
the king here at Barstool.
The porn guy.
I,
Yeah.
I think more sports memorabilia that is marketed towards the haters of a franchise should be sold. Like I'm shocked that they even are selling this, because but the thing is, the Yankees are the number one fan base in baseball in terms of just people, right? It's just a fact.
Yeah.
However, Yankee haters probably trump them if you're just going on, hating, because it's literally the other 29 teams hate the Yankees to some extent. Red Sox won, I'd say Mets fans too, and
Losers.
everyone
Absolute
want like
losers.
RDT wrote this blog. He's an Orioles fan. I'm sure he would love to get it if he had the money. So these balls might go for a shit ton of money, only trumped by like a big home run ball by like Otani or something like that, or the Freddie Freeman ball, which Kevin said he wanted to buy as well in the Game 1 Grand Slam. So Kevin, sooner or later these balls keep coming out. You have to buy one of them. You put it on the mantle and you just let them know. But you're right, Rob. If the Yankee, like Steinbrenner would not let this ball get in the hands of a hater. He would have fucking
No.
had it burned, buried 1,000 feet to the Earth's core, essentially. So it'll be
Put it in the
interesting.
Meadowlands with Jimmy Hoffa.
Exactly. Large. This was the new one here that I told Robbie right before we went live. We have the surprise topic of the day. I wanted to spring this one on you. Large, give me your thoughts on Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco getting engaged last night.
Oh, Selena Gomez is Only Murders in the Building or something like that. Is that her? No,
Yes. Good show, actually.
Wow, good pull, Large.
Steve
not too
Martin,
bad.
Martin Short.
Yeah, she also has, for some reason, this woman, I think she has like a series on the Food Network too. She's been given a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
cooking
Like,
show.
yeah, she's
I
got
think
like
she's
a,
like a billionaire. If she's not, she's close. She's got a bunch of endeavors.
I think she
yeah.
hit the B. I think she hit the B.
Now ask me who
Yeah.
Blanco is.
Who's Benny Blanco?
I
Who's
have no.
Benny Blanco?
I mean, that was I believe it was a character from
Take a guess.
no, it was a character from not yeah, Scarface. Wasn't it like Bunny Blanco from the Bronx, right? Or something like that? Wasn't it
I
John?
think you're right. I
Benny
think that's where
Blanco,
he gets his name.
is that it? Yeah. So Benny Blanco is the real
Carlito's
name.
Way. Carlito's Way here.
Carlito's Way, yeah, yeah. It's Bad Bunny's real name is actually Benny Blanco. I have no fucking clue who the guy is. I got to go with.
No,
I don't know.
he's
Selena
a
Gomez,
music
kind of a fan.
producer.
Oh, is he?
He's a producer. He's got an interesting look as well.
Does he?
Weird looking guy. Yeah, he's in a couple episodes of Dave, the Little Dicky show.
That's
Okay.
how I know him. That's the only reason I know him. And then I
Yeah.
looked at his Wikipedia. I'm like, oh, and he makes nothing but bangers. He's an incredible fucking producer
Yeah.
or whatever.
Who was the
Uh,
dude
He's
that was
probably
in,
one of the top producers in the world at this point.
who was the dude that was in Bullet Train? Remember with Brad Pitt?
Oh, that was Bad Bunny.
That was Bad Bunny. Okay. I get
Yeah.
Benny Blanco because they're both alliterative B names. Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
Bugs
like a
Bunny.
Stan Lee
Bunny.
superhero name.
Yeah. So so I don't know, but I wish those kids the best.
Not to be confused with Bad Baby.
Bad Baby.
Bad
Yeah.
Baby. Yep.
Yep. Mhm.
As well.
But yeah, so I don't have much else to say. Congratulations. Have they been dating very long? Because this one feels
They've been
like
dating for a little bit.
Okay.
They've been dating for, I want to say about a year, I would guess. And they seem like they're happy in love. I'm happy for them.
How long were you dating your wife, Clem, before you popped the question?
So I was dating her for 4.5 years, but those were fresh out of college. So we were poor. I couldn't afford to, a ring, let alone a wedding. So it was like 4.5 years. I knew she was the one pretty instantly, though. It was just a matter of she was going to dump me in the meantime until I could get that ring on her finger. So the fact I made it that far. Benny, says here Kelly Keys called him one of the good guys. So sounds like he's a nice guy. Shout out to nice guys. He's funny as hell in Dave. He's a fucking weirdo in
He
Dave.
is,
I don't
yeah.
know. I imagine everyone who's like in that world is probably weird in some sense if you're in LA that long. I also have to shout out Large. I didn't know if he would get the Selena Gomez because he does have a daughter who probably listens to Selena Gomez. I don't know if Selena Gomez even makes music anymore, actually. Does she make music? Robbie's the guy who we're going to for all this. Right
I would say I don't think she really does anymore. I think she recently put out like a couple songs, but I think she's like, I'm pretty much done after like this album cycle or whatever.
Okay.
I'm seeing if
I
I
know
have
people
it.
kind of
Selena
shit on her
Gomez.
music and they love everything else she does. Like she's pretty beloved outside of her music, I would say.
I have Lose You to Love Me in the Bible.
You have Selena Gomez songs?
Yeah. Well, so my iTunes I share with the kids. So my
Yeah.
iTunes account has got everything in it. Oh, Come and Get It. Is that If You Want to Come and Get It? Na 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 na. Is that that?
Oh yeah, it is.
I think it is, right?
Look
Yeah.
at that.
That's a banger. That's
This
a
guy's
bop.
hip.
That's a
It's a
bop, as
bop.
the
It's a
kids
bop.
say. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Robbie, how long before you would ask your bride to be to marry you? How long were you dating?
I want to say it was like just over 4 years, like two
Okay.
weeks after the 4 year anniversary, I think.
This is only a year, guys. I asked
Yeah.
Annie after 10 months, right? 20 some odd years ago. But still,
Wow.
we were special. I think we're more special than Selena Gomez and Bad Baby, whatever the fuck his name is.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how long after you guys were dating did Annie say she was paying off your student loans?
Probably 9.5 months. And then a couple of weeks later, I was like, let's lock this shit down.
Wow, coincidence.
True story, by the way. Thank you for picking that up.
I have to. Hey, it wasn't the man that she was marrying, it sounds like at that point. That's what you always told everyone on
Wasn't the credit
the
score either. Yeah, yeah.
again, a parenting podcast. We can even talk about how we met our wives. This has legs here, Large. I think we
It
can do it.
does. Yeah. Is there anybody on this in Barstool who might be having a couple of kids who's got a tremendous amount of personality? We could have him. Anyone know about that?
I
Right?
don't know. I
No,
don't
yes.
know.
Yeah, let's go.
It's
We said
not
we're
me,
gonna
by the way. They're not talking about me. If
no.
you're unfamiliar with Roan, that seemed like they might have been talking about me. I'm not having kids.
How fucking nice was Pat Bev's reaction when Rowan, did you
So
see that clip?
nice.
That was so
Yeah.
fucking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Uh,
have our reaction in the latest Pup Punk vlog, actually. Frankie and Roan told us in the same night, an hour apart. And like we had a camera set up in the corner of the room, not expecting anything. We were just filming our practice, and it's a really sweet moment.
that's awesome.
I found out, I don't know when that was, but I found out when I went to your guys' show. Roan told me in the green room or whatever. And my reaction was, there is nobody on this planet who deserves to have twins more than you, Adam, for Roan. The Loki of Barstool deserves to have all the joy that comes with having twin children. So shout out to the Roans, shout out to the Borellis and everyone involved. They're joining the club, Large. Well, you can know who's in the club with the bags under their eyes. That's why I wear my glasses, to hide them. We said we had to add this one onto the rundown just because Large has boots on the ground here. So we've had these drones flying over New Jersey for like, I don't know how long it's been, days, weeks, months. The latest thing is Congress thinks that there is an Iranian mothership parked off the Atlantic coast. That is kind of where all these drones are coming from there. And Large, again, boots on the ground. You said you spotted one of these bad boys?
I think, yeah. So when I go out at night to walk the dogs, I'm the last one. I do the final walk. So it's usually around midnight-ish or so, between 11 and midnight. And when you fill up the bag of shit, like I always clean up after my dogs, but then I always go to throw it places where I shouldn't throw it. Maybe down a sewer. That's terrible. People's garbage. If somebody has a dumpster on my fucking block, those poor bastards, right? So I'm always looking around to see if I'm being caught on a doorbell cam or anything like that, because everyone's got the doorbell cams. And I'd seen the drone the other night. It was a nighttime thing. I don't know how big it
Wow.
was or anything like that. So now I'm a head on a swivel.
Big, small?
It was about the size of a Buick. I'm just kidding. I have no fucking idea how big it was, right? So it was like that 4 light with a single light in between it. If I had to guess
Yeah.
where I was, it was definitely bigger than a shoebox, but wasn't as big as these. They're saying that they're as big as
Did it
Volkswagen.
seem close? Did it seem like a plane far
I
away?
would no, it wasn't 30,000 feet. Like I would say that it was above where a kid's DJI drone could go to. Like it was pretty high
Okay.
up. You weren't able to see it, but it was definitely, you're like, that's not a low hanging aircraft, right? Because it was going past me, but
Yeah.
not at like one of those breakneck speeds and not at the correct thing. But yeah, so it's, and a bunch of people on our block had, because that rips through
Wow.
the Ridgewood mom and dad's Facebook page. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like I don't, my son, but had his dick. You don't know what the fuck these people are saying. I piss in my backyard every now and again, so now I look up to make sure that my dick's not on camera. That 8-inch cock I was telling you guys about a little bit earlier. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Imagine the drone
The
out.
latest from the Pentagon, I think, is also that it's not Iran. Pentagon was like, no, there's no mothership.
Well, China was the weather balloon, right? Wasn't that the when
Yeah.
the weather balloon came through? And I have the remedy for this. It's fucking Sydney Wells. You put
Yes.
Sydney Wells in the
Yeah.
area with a high powered, not even a
Get her in one of those
high-powered.
choppers.
Yeah. We did the duck hunting. Spider and I did duck hunting in St. Louis, outside of St. Louis with her last week. Man, that's emasculating. That is fucking, and all the guys who were there with us who are real hunters, they were all like, listen, we're going out for ducks, but if we are going out for the deer and there were 10 of us, 9 of us would have shotguns and rifles, and one of us would have a bow and arrow. Like Sydney only, I'm assuming she pulls it out of a quiver like Legolas. She only
Yeah.
kills these things single shot through the heart. She's
Holy fuck.
I mean, other people are like, oh yeah, I'm a badass boss bitch. Okay, fucking cut out and eat the heart of a while it's still beating. This girl's the shit. So I say put her in charge, and she'll start taking these things down by the dozen. No,
I like it. I like
yeah.
it. I just love the thought of some foreign country spying on us with drones, and they're just looking at Large's dick and him, throwing his dog shit in the neighbors'
Yeah.
yards and stuff like that. He's being judged halfway around the world for what he's doing.
They're like, we must observe this man in Ridgewood.
Yeah. Or Clem didn't return his shopping cart at Costco. You know,
It's funny you say that. I went a long distance to return my shopping cart in the cold weather the other day, and I was like, I almost want to shout myself out for how long. The Costco shopping the parking lots are notoriously humongous and jammed. They do not have nearly enough returns for their carts, and I go, I am doing this partially because I didn't want some. You never know if there's a stoolie around. It goes, by the way, I just saw Clem. He
Yeah.
just put his thing on the curb there. So it was a thought that went through
Then
my
you're
head.
canceled.
Yep, I don't want to get canceled for my shopping cart etiquette at Costco or anywhere for that matter. So the
well,
drones could be watching.
the Costco shit has invaded my social media. I know I've never been. I told you I was at that place BJ's, which is one of its smaller competitors. BJ's is not as big as Costco, from what I understand. Never been to Costco, and Clem's always promised to take me there. Another broken promise by Clem, and it's all over my thing. And because I stay on it, and the place looks fantastic. And I'm never gonna go
Oh, it's
unless
awesome.
it looks just fucking great.
It's the
I can't
best.
believe I'm
Every
saying
pair of
that out
glasses
loud.
I've ever got in my life, Costco.
Same here, Bob. Same here.
Really? The booze is
Yeah.
supposed to be great, the meat's supposed to be great, and then
The
obviously
samples, yeah.
disgraceful chicken bakes and whatnot, but I want it all. So I mean, just
Double chocolate cookie. Yeah.
That's the craziest thing is that we used to talk about this on, a hypothetical parenting podcast that might have been killed. And that was the thing. It was like, we're going to get him there one day. And then once that disappeared, we just stopped talking. This is the first time I've seen Large in 2
Yeah.
or 3 years at this point, is this episode right
It was
now.
like
By the way,
Oasis.
I
A lot
found
of
out
hatred.
that Clem and Robbie and I are doing this. I found out last night. I assumed you were coming in to HQ, so I went out last night to get a Viennetta for you and I and Robbie to enjoy. And Clem was like, "Holy shit, did you get one?" I was like, "I couldn't find it." We come in today, and in one of the most predictable things ever, Robbie goes, "What's a Viennetta?" And it's so sad that the Viennetta is the Grey Poupon of ice cream cakes. They used to sell them. It looked like ribbons of ice cream on top of each other with, like the fudge down the middle. Perhaps there was a hazelnut involved.
Wow.
And if you had a Viennetta as a kid, you were rich. And if you had an Entenmann's, you weren't. And we were an Entenmann's
Wow.
family, but every now and again, we'd fucking throw Viennetta in the mix, and that was good living.
If Dad worked
I was
overtime,
gonna
he'd have
guess
a
it was
Vienna.
either like I thought it was a meat. You were gonna be cutting us like slices of pepperoni or something, or I was gonna guess it was like a flaky baked good.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. Yes, it's the greatest ice cream cake ever made. Oh, and by the way,
Wow.
we changed around the watermelon. Do you ever used to do that? The watermelon from
Oh,
Friendlies?
big
It's
time.
Yeah, now it's frosted with like a fondant. It's awful. I'm
Oh, they ruined it.
like almost like a hard green shell to it.
Oh,
And maybe it's just that's how it is off season. Because I bought one instead of the Viennetta. It was fucking awful. I had it last night.
I
So
thought they killed it, so I'm happy they brought it back, but apparently not the case. This is what happens when they bring back the classics. They try to change it and they ruin everything. So
yeah.
RIP to the real watermelon, RIP to the Viennetta, and RIP to the Choco Taco. Like I don't want to see the Choco Taco come
yeah.
back if they're gonna fuck it up. I want to remember it for what it was, not a zombie version of it brought back to life. We're talking culinary, so we'll finish up with this one here. This story from a couple days ago. My guy Bob blogged it as he's showing right now. Jeremy Allen, aka the Bear from The Bear. Jeremy Allen White will play Jabba the Hutt's son, Rada the Hutt, in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out next year.
Yes, next year. 2020. Actually, no, might be 2026.
So we're getting
It's
nerdy here on the rundown
2026.
here. We're bringing the rundown down to the base. We're going to talk some nerd stuff right now. So, Large, I heard you were excited. Large is a low key nerd. No one knows this about him because he's too busy flaunting his money and his financial tips and stuff around here. But Large is a low key nerd. Are you excited about this, Large?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I just started Skeleton Crew. I've only done the first two, but I think that the comparisons to a Star Wars version of Goonies is probably pretty spot on. I'm enjoying it. I think I'm going to finish that one out. I don't know where Jeremy Allen White adds any kind of value to this, right? Because Rada looks like Jabba. It's not like his son looks like a ripped, tiny chef. You know what I mean? Like it look. So we're basically doing it for the voice, and I don't see Jeremy Allen White doing the same thing that Benjamin Cumberbatch playing Smaug. That made sense, right? Like because he sounds like a fucking dragon in Middle Earth. Um, I can't think of anything. Oh, Joker. When it was Mark Hamill does the Joker's voice, right? Doesn't he?
Yeah, the
Yeah, and
best.
he's got that great thing. He's not the best Joker voice, but he's got that great cadence. I don't know what Jeremy Allen White brings to the table, so I'm kind of nonplussed by this. I'm not really looking forward to it. He was awesome in The Wrestler. I do enjoy The Bear. I enjoyed all three seasons. But I don't know. This doesn't get me for any reason. Are you guys excited about it?
Hell's Bob.
I don't know how to feel about it because Rada the Hutt has really only appeared in the Clone Wars movie, which was like a 2008 thing to kick off the cartoon. It's not a very good movie, but oddly enough, the storyline of the movie mirrors the storyline of The Mandalorian. It's Anakin and Ahsoka go and find that Jabba the Hutt's baby son, who literally looks like a baby Jabba, has been kidnapped by the Separatists. It's all a ruse to try to get the Hutt clan against. It's like a big convoluted Clone Wars thing. But essentially, it's Anakin has to go bring this baby to safety, bring him back to his family. So in a weird way, Rada is the original Baby Yo, and I'm like, I wonder if they're bringing him into the movie almost to like pay tribute to him in a weird way like that, because it is Dave Filoni, the same guy created the movie and this movie. But I look at it like this. Is Jeremy Allen White as a Hutt strange? Of course. It's the most bizarre story I've read all year, and I had to check and make sure it wasn't like a fake tweet when it came out the other night. Jeremy Allen White as a scumbag gangster? All right, I could kind of see that. And at the end of the day, the Hutts are just scumbag gangsters. And there's been weird animated castings before that I've rolled my eyes at and scoffed at. Vin Diesel's going to be playing a tree. Bradley Cooper's going to be playing a raccoon. And it's like, I kind of felt the way Large felt, where it's like, what do they add to this? But then it's like, I can't imagine Rocket Raccoon with a different voice. Vin Diesel as Groot, whatever. That is what it is. He says one word every movie. But yeah, there is part of me that's excited for this. It's Favreau, it's Filoni, it's the first Star Wars movie in theaters since Episode 9. They know they need to nail this one. So yeah, fuck it. Let's get nuts, Rada.
Will he be recognizable like that Baka Chol? Like I mean, does he have to
I
do it?
almost think he like won't be. Like I almost think you won't hear his like I almost think it'll be like Bradley Cooper and Rocket Raccoon. When you listen to Rocket Raccoon, I never hear Bradley Cooper.
Right. I
I
guess I can see that too. Or Matthew McConaughey in like that Sing where he's the little koala.
I never saw that actually.
Oh, really?
Good movie,
Yeah.
Bob.
It's not a bad one. I took the kids to
Yeah.
that. But yeah, but that's animated. You know what I mean? It's almost like you
Yeah.
get away with it a little bit more. I don't, I don't know what a draw that is, but we're talking about it, and I'm curious on how it is. So maybe that's the whole idea. You know, you
There
find,
were rumors, by the way. You said he's not going to look buff. There were rumors he's going to look buff.
but
I
how
don't
can
know
he
what that means for a
look
Hutt.
buff? How can he look buff? Like my
I
whole
don't know. I don't know what that means for a Hutt.
right. Yeah.
I think it's almost a win for Jeremy Allen White and his agent. It's like when you hit the level of we're going to just give you a role in Star Wars that you're not even going to be seen on screen. You're just going to cash a big fat check. That's almost a role that you've like made it, right? You're now at the Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel level. And I guess he's kind of, we'll see. What's he's doing Springsteen, right? Is that the movie
Yeah, he's playing Springsteen.
I think that if that hits, then we're on a whole other spot. I mean, Cousin is crushing right now. He's part of the Fantastic Four. He was in Andor. He's in a bunch of stuff, and I feel like Jeremy Allen White is potentially even. I mean, they had a fucking. Did you see they had a lookalike contest in Chicago?
Yeah,
And the dude who looked like him was pretty fucking spot on. So
he's good.
back to having lookalike contests. So good for him. Good for his agent. We got the after show. I guess we could talk a little surviving Barstool spoilers. This is talking Wednesday, December 11th episode. They got my boy Mincy.
They got
Did
Mitzi.
They took Sweet Benji
Yeah.
down. Yeah, he's gone. My thoughts on this was I feel like the strategy, I feel like getting rid of Mintz was the easy move, probably not the smart move. I think that team could have probably gotten someone else off and kept him around. But I think it just was an easy one. And I can't blame him because Bob knows, no offense, Bob, like either get someone or get got yourself, right?
Exactly. I wish I lasted as long as Mintz did in the competition because at this point, everyone eliminated now will join the jury and they all join this like final house. And that just the idea of it seemed fun to me. You know, I love the sleepover vibe, but the footage of Mintz being the first one to arrive and being the only one in there was so funny. He's just looking around this Airbnb. It's a nice Airbnb, but there's like random, statues and sculptures on the wall. There's like a golden deer head wearing glasses. He's like, oh, look at that deer. It's wearing glasses. Never seen something like that before. And it's just like his observations, the thing that run through his head. It's very funny. But yeah, it was a good episode last night. Good challenge. They brought back a challenge
Oh,
from last year,
Whitney
Attack and Defend, I think
crushed.
it's called. Whitney was throwing these balls at 10,000 miles an hour. Good drama last night. Megan making money, realizing her team was in the men's room, so she bursts into the boys' room, demanding answers. I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited every single night we have a surviving Barstool. And when it's Friday, when it's Saturday, when it's Sunday, when it's Monday, I'm actually craving it. I'm fiending for it a little bit. I just want it to come back. So I'm excited even knowing what happens. Even like not knowing what happens, I can't imagine how excited you would be.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm loving it. It's a nightly thing. Wife and I put the kids down and get our hour of surviving Barstool in. Uh you mentioned it with Mincy. So yeah, large Mincy's in this house until the final jury or whatever, and everyone's gonna get added to that house as they get eliminated. They go to the house, they can watch the eliminations on like closed caption TV or was it closed circuit TV, and then they go back in. So right now, if you get eliminated from surviving Barstool, you then go to a house where you're trapped in there and can't leave with Mincy. And I think a Mincy house is almost going to become a spin-off, and we're going to like down the road surviving Barstool will be the thing that starts the Ben Mintz show or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
that it's going to be called. And that's honestly like they just showed 10 seconds of him going, there's a deer with wearing glass, never seen that. Sign me up.
Very funny.
Pay-per-view? You want
Yeah.
to throw pay-per-view? I'm fucking in. Mincy somehow redeems himself. This was shot months ago, and it somehow got him, I feel like, out of the hot water of missing like his 10th
Yeah.
big gambling stream. So shout out to Mincy for being the man with 10 lives. Large, you spent time with Mincy where it's just you and him. You drove up to that barbecue place. That man could talk about himself for hours on hours. What is he going to do when he's in a house by himself? And then with just one other person. I'm intrigued. I can't wait to see
Yeah,
it.
I think yeah, I think that Mincy is fascinating. And Ben's a friend of mine. Like I've done Hogs Fest with him twice. The Hogs Fest thing and the barbecue stuff. We were Team Porknoy one year and stuff.
Nice.
So I like Ben. I speak to him quite often. How great would it have been? Like, so we already know who won. I'm going to tell everyone right here who won. Right now. Yeah. I'll just give you the final two right now. No, but like, let's say it was Mincy. So what had happened since this thing was filmed? and Ben getting himself in hot water. How fucking furious would people have been if he would have been the guy that won the 250 grand?
Oh my
Or would people know that other people would be furious about it? So if there's like some sort of voting component, I'm not sure exactly how the votes get tallied. And you know what I mean? Like then people kind of push him through. Or to your point, I have a lot of ors here, a lot of permutations and combinations going on. I gotta start watching this fucking thing. Like if it was one of those things where they kept him around because they knew he'd be easy. Like I watch Ink Master all the time, that stupid tattoo show. And sometimes they keep around the weakest tattoo artists because they know they're not going to be able to do anything once it gets to watercolors week. Like, you know what I mean? Like it'll just work itself out. So Mincy had the opportunity to maybe hang around towards the end too. That would have been also very fucking intriguing, you know, as a
Yeah.
Kaiser Mincy. Just see the like, and
yeah,
he just starts walking normal, and you're like,
because right
holy
now he's
shit.
the John Travolta meme, you know, in the empty, you know, the empty room. Yeah,
Yeah.
with Bad Bunny playing in the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations to Ben, I guess. That guy, he wins when he loses. That's a guy
Of
who's
course.
he's the definition of falling upwards. And I love that son of a bitch. So who's the front runner now? Who does everyone kind of after watching a couple episodes, who looks like the strong is
I
it
can't
Whitney?
say.
What's that?
I don't know who wins, and I honestly don't know if there is like front runners. There's obviously pockets of people who have alliances, but this is the thing. The knives are coming out now because all I said, lots of the like the nice people who didn't want to vote other people in or play the game, our boy Bob, right, one of the nicer people here at Barstool,
Yes.
gone. So it's like, and then Mincy I think was almost like the last one where it's like, all right, we've taken care of him, and now we have people that don't mind getting their hands dirty, and that's when the game gets a lot of fun, and that's when it's going to get personal. People stop being polite and start getting real, right, Large? That's an
Real
old
world,
one, the
yeah.
real world.
Get
So
off
I,
talk.
I I feel like that'll come sooner or later. Again, I have no clue what happens. I like to go in these things spoiler free so I can just watch it and experience it like everyone else out there watching in the Stoolie land. So, but again, I do think there's something there with that Mincy show. I'm sure there's a whole lot of footage of him just walking around that house, but with himself, and then whoever the next person is, and then it's just three people at the house, and four, and Mincy's always there just being Mincy. So I can't wait to see it. Surviving Barstool, end of the week episode tonight, Thursday, December 12th. And unnamed show. They're going live every Friday. They talk about obviously the happenings going on there. And My Mom's Basement. We're going to be doing this every week as well. We like to give our thoughts and everything. So check it out on YouTube. We talk nerdy, talking Star Wars stuff. Creature Commando, is that the name of it? And then
Creature
anything else.
Commando, Skeleton
I
Crew,
love it.
Surviving Barstool every Friday.
I love Creature Commandos.
So sick.
Oh man, I've been on a good tear because I always call Clem first, Robbie. That's no dig on you. And I'm like, Clem, should I watch, X-Men 97? You gotta watch X-Men 97. Thank God that I did. It was fucking
Yeah.
fantastic. I didn't call you about Creature Commandos, but I was on a flight the other day and I watched it. They're like 20 minutes a piece. It's the only thing.
Yeah,
So easy to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, but it pissed me off too. Like I wanna
You want
I
to
want to chunk
dig
it
your
out a
teeth
little
in.
bit.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. Very, very
Yeah.
good.
I love the Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein shit in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Frank's a freak.
Yeah.
So that's the run. That's the last word of the rundown for the week. Frank's a freak. So that's the rundown for this week. We'll see you guys next week.